That day passes, and it's time for the club meeting already. I got a little comfortable here over the past couple days. Entering the club room, the usual scene greets me.
Welcome back, you.
Hi Yuri. I'm not sure if it's me or if it's Yuri's expression, but the way yesterday's quarrel still hangs in the air a little. Yuri glances over her shoulder, looking around the room. Natsuki is reading a manga at a desk, and surprisingly, Monika isn't here yet. Suddenly, Yuri takes my arm and pulls me to the corner of the room.
About yesterday, I really need to apologize. Nothing like that has ever happened before. And something just came over me, I guess. I wasn't acting mentally sound. Please don't think we're usually like this. Not just me, but Natsuki as well.
Yuri, I'm happy that you would consider it and apologize. Did we see the scene before?
I think we did.
Wait.
I think maybe it just started back at the beginning of the scene.
Did I forgot to save last time?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god. What am I seeing? People, Sail Club, Blindside, Lifeline, and Practicality, hopelessly offered, Claromalassia, Stated, Catholicate. I will accept your apology anyway, if it helps you feel better about it. Besides, it's kinda nice to hear, since I was always afraid you secretly hated me or something like that. Jesus, why must the curse attacks come to me, the person who barely speaks English?
I want to say Bailey.
Not at all. I don't hate you.
You're kind of weird, but I don't hate you either.
Natsuki turns to me.
You're still on trial, though.
Hey! Suddenly the door swings open.
Sorry, I'm super sorry.
Ah, there you are.
I didn't mean to be late. I hope you guys weren't worried or anything.
Nah. Well, Natsuki was.
I was not. But it took you so long anyway.
Well, my last period today was study hall. Be honest, I kind of just lost track of time.
That makes no sense, though.
Okay, remind me. Have we seen this scene before? I can't remember.
Some of it, but not that weird thing with her earlier.
I feel like it's a thing that happens each time around, just kind of differently.
Let's just keep going,
Yeah.
I guess. Okay.
You would have heard the bell ring at least.
I must not have heard it since I was practicing piano.
Piano? I wasn't aware you played music as well, Monika.
Don't give me more credit than I deserve.
Okay, I think I remember that dialogue. The piano part.
Yeah.
chocolate and... Oh.
Yeah, creepy eyes.
Yeah.
Yep, that was the thing.
Yeah, that happened.
Okay, I guess I've got to save last time.
Good one. Well, that's alright. This is gorgeous.
Okay, we've seen this before.
Where's the weird eyes sliding out of her face?
And you had creepy mouth.
Yeah.
Would have been a shame not to see the eyes again.
Right.
Did we get to where we were?
I think so.
Okay. Sorry, I know it's kind of abstract. I'm just trying to, well, never mind. There's no point in explaining. Anyway, here's Monika's writing tip of the day. Sometimes you'll find yourself facing a difficult decision. This is a real good message for you. When that happens, don't forget to save your game.
What's that supposed to mean, Monika?
You never know when, who am I talking to? Can you hear me? Tell me you can hear me. Anything.
Please help me.
That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Okay, everyone. We're all done reading each other's poems, right? We have something we need to go over today, so if everyone can come sit in front of the room.
Is this about the festival?
Well, sort of.
Well, do we really have to do something for the festival? It's not like we can put together anything good in 2 days. We'll just end up embarrassing ourselves instead of getting any new members.
Fade to black. I don't really do well with last-minute preparations.
Don't worry so much. We're going to keep it simple, okay? Look. I know everyone's been a little more lively ever since you joined, and we've started with some club activities. But this isn't the time for us to become complacent. We still only have 4 members. And the festival is our only real chance to find more, you know?
What's so great about getting new members anyway? You already have enough to be considered an official club. More members would just mean everything gets noisier and more difficult to manage.
Natsuki, I don't think you're looking at it the right way at all. Don't you want to share your passion with as many people as you can? Inspire them to find the same feelings that brought you here in the first place? The literature club should be a place where people can express themselves like they can't do anywhere else. It should be a place so intimate that you never want to leave. I know you feel that way too. I know we all do. So that's why we should work hard and put something together for the festival, even if it's something small. Right, you?
Oh, come on! Don't take advantage of you to agree with you just because he doesn't know how to say no to anything. Look, Look, Monika. Do you really think any of us here joined the club with other people in mind? You were never even talking until you joined it. As for me, I just like it better here than I do at home. And you isn't even passionate about literature in the first place. And that's everyone. Sorry, but you're really the only one who's so interested in fighting new members. The rest of us are fine like this. You know you're president at all, but you should really consider our opinions for once.
Monika is clearly taken back by Natsuki's words.
That's not true at all. I'm sure Yuri and you want to get more members too. Right?
I don't know about Yuri, but I'm kind of indifferent. If I showed as much enthusiasm as Monika wanted, then I would probably be lying. Still, if it's up to me to rescue this situation,
No. Natsuki's right, isn't she? This club. Nothing more than a place for a few people to hang out. Why did I think that everyone here saw it the same way as I did?
But that doesn't mean that we're getting new members or anything.
Why did you even join this club? What were you hoping to get out of it?
Well, that's not really something to be honest about, is it?
In fact, if I remember, you weren't even given a choice not to join.
Monika sits down and stares at her desk.
What's the point of all this anyway? What if starting this club was a mistake?
Now you've done it, Natsuki.
What? Me? I just spoke my mind. Is it a crime to be honest?
It's not about being honest. It's about word choice. Besides, you have no right to speak for everyone else in the club like that.
You don't understand at all. I just want a place that feels nice to hang out with a few friends. Is there a problem with the club being that for me? There aren't many other places like that for me. And now Monika wants to take it away from me.
She's not taking anything away.
No, you. It's not the same. It won't be the same with the direction she wants to take it. If I wanted that, then I could have just joined any other stupid club. But this one... I mean... at least for a little bit of time. Things were nice.
Natsuki starts packing up her things.
I'm going home. I feel like I don't belong here right now.
Natsuki.
Natsuki ignores Yuri and walks right out of the classroom.
This is bad. I don't know what to do.
Well, do you have an opinion on the festival?
I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent, I guess. Who cares about that obnoxious brat? I mean, I like how nice and quiet the club is right now. And I'm just happy with you here. But still, I'm the vice president. It's not right for me to ignore my responsibilities like that. Nobody would cry if she killed herself. I should do my best to consider everyone's perspective and make the decision that's right for the club.
We saw that before, didn't we?
Yeah.
I remember like where we finished.
Yeah, and then like her eye starts going all weird and crying blood and stuff.
I remember
what-
we finished last time on like it was like a fade to black and it was Monika like
Oh, okay.
wait, don't yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
this
think
is
we
all
were
old.
quite a ways. How dare you not save? You didn't take my advice.
Well, I was in a rush, I guess. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, I'm starting to remember things now. Yeah,
Mhm,
right here.
There you go. That's where we were.
You know what, Gabby, you read the poem today.
Okay. Suicide. Death. Melancholy. Dark. Depression. Summer. Unending. Misery. Insight. Sadness. Tragedy. Graveyard. Marriage. Effulgent, because I have no fucking idea what that word means. Massacre.
Yeah, you know what? Now you can pick the last couple words.
Despise.
Took me a while to unmute. Let's do fickle. And let's do bouncy. And party. Captive. Sorry, I'm muted because the dogs are getting really loud.
It's okay.
Hi, you. I've been waiting for you. Are you ready to continue reading? I brought my best tea today.
Monika! I told you not to. Oh! Is she really late again?
Inconsiderate as usual, Natsuki.
Excuse me?
Must you always interrupt my conversations with your incessant yelling?
What are you talking about? You say that like I do it on a regular basis or something. I just wasn't paying attention, okay? I'm sorry. Seriously, what's gotten in you lately?
Me? Nothing. Is it really that bad?
See, it is something.
I'll get over it. It's not even anything noteworthy. I've just been feeling a little on edge lately. Anyway, we don't need to talk about it.
Well, I just felt like I needed to bring it up. It's not like I really care or anything.
Oh man. I'm the last one here again.
Well, you're just walking in too.
Were you practicing piano again?
Yeah.
You must have a lot of determination. Starting this club and still trying to make time for piano?
Well, maybe not determination. But I guess passion. It motivates me to work hard for the festival and... Right. I forgot.
About that, Natsuki. We were all talking yesterday and... well, we decided that we would like to support the festival as well. However, I understand how you feel about not wanting the club to change. I think we all kind of feel that way. So as long as we're all working together, this club will never become something we don't want. Also, if you help us out with the festival, then I'll buy you a new manga.
Sorry, that last part was really funny. Look, I did some thinking about yesterday. I was a little more hostile than I meant. Guess I really felt threatened or something. But I know this is something better. Another new member wouldn't hurt as long as they're cool. And I guess another girl would be nice this time. But more importantly, I would hate to see the event suck just because I choose to back out. I'm a pro, you know? So I'm gonna help too, and we'll make sure it's done right.
Thank goodness. Isn't that great, Monika?
Monika?
Ah. Yeah, that's wonderful. It wouldn't be the same without you, Natsuki. Anyway, you. What do you want to do today? I was thinking we could...
We already have plans today.
Ah. That's so, Yuri.
That's correct. Yu is already engaged in a novel that we're reading together. Aren't you glad I've already gotten him into literature, Monika?
I suppose. I was just... Actually, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You guys can do whatever you want.
Thank you for understanding, Monika.
I didn't skip over that, just to let you know.
Oh. Actually, I have a request. Do you mind if I make some tea first?
Not at all.
Groundhog Day. Thanks very much. If there's one thing that can make my reading time here any better, it's a nice cup of tea. Again. Not to mention for yourself as well.
Yuri stands up and makes her way to the closet. I follow and watch as she retrieves a small water pitcher from the shelf, the kind with a filter inside.
Can you hold this for a second?
Sure. Yuri hands me the water pitcher and also fetches an electric kettle.
I'm plug this in at the teacher's desk, and then I'll go get some water.
She walks past me and sets the kettle down on the teacher's desk. I simply watch her movements. To my surprise, the way she moves really contrasts her speak and mannerisms. Especially because of her long legs, Yuri appears elegant and methodical.
Okay, may I have the water pitcher? Thanks. I'll be right back.
I might as well walk with you.
That's okay. You stay here. It won't take long.
Pitcher in hand, Yuri hurries out of the classroom.
Ah. Did Yuri leave you again?
No, it's not like that this time. She's just filling up the water pitcher to make tea.
Oh, okay. Sorry for misunderstanding.
10 minutes pass. Yuri said it wouldn't take long. Is something holding her up? I'm bored just waiting here, so I decided to go look for her. Let's see. The most logical place for Yuri to be would be the nearest water fountain. I started heading down the hallway. What's that noise? It's coming from around the corner. It sounds like breathing. A sharp inhale, like someone is sucking the air through their teeth. Are they in pain? I reach the corner and peer around it. Yuri?
Yeah. Wait. How did I... Sorry, I just had a really weird deja vu. This hasn't happened before or anything, right? My head has been a little fuzzy lately. I hope it hasn't really been showing or anything. I would hate for you to think I'm weird just after we started spending time together. I mean, everyone has a few unusual things about them. But expressing those things so soon after meeting someone is usually seen as inappropriate or unlikable. At least, that's what I've discovered. When I was a bit younger, I think I would come on really strongly and get a little too intense. It made people not want to be around me. So I started hating those things about myself. My obsession with certain hobbies. And the way I can't control myself when I get too excited about something. So, I eventually stopped trying to talk to people. If nobody could ever like me for the things that matter most to me, then it's just easier if I close myself off. But recently, something's been wrong. I don't know what it is. But every time we come to the club, my heart starts to go crazy. Like it's gonna rip out of my chest. It overwhelms me with energy and emotions that I can't let out. It's been making me do weird things. I don't know why it's happening. Is it just me, or has Monika been acting a little off lately? She's always been a sweetheart ever since I joined the club. But recently, I've been feeling something sharp whenever she's around. I'm not crazy, right? Please tell me I'm not. I couldn't say anything before because she's always listening. But finally, we're alone. Can we just stay here for a while? Yeah. I just want to stay here. Just the two of us. We can stay here until the club ends. And then we'll have the club room all to ourselves. Nobody to interfere with our reading time. Nobody to make me feel like stabbing myself in the throat. That was a joke. Just a joke. I do like knives, though. It sounds strange, but you wouldn't understand if you've never seen how beautiful they can be. I have an idea. Why don't you come to my house sometime? I could show you my collection. I've gotten them all from various artisans. I make sure to give them all their fair share of use. I don't want them to get lonely or anything. Nobody deserves to be lonely. Nobody. And that's why I'm so happy you joined the literature club, you. Now we don't need to be lonely anymore. Because we have each other. Every day. That's all we need. You know what? Let's quit the literature club. There's no need for us to be around Monika's slimy tongue anymore. Not to mention that other pathetic child. We can walk home together every day after school. And read together. Eat together. Sleep together. Doesn't that sound perfect? It's everything we could ever want. Isn't that why you joined the club in the first place? It's almost like it was fate. Fate that we should meet each other. And now we get the happy ending that I've patiently waited years for. Will you do that with me, you? Will...
Guess you really haven't learned anything after all. Honestly, I don't know why I got my hopes up in the first place. This is clearly Yuri's influence. You didn't realize you were so impressionable. Spending all this time with her in the club. Now trying to write like her. This is stupid. This Monika hates my writing. Ugh. Okay, I guess I'm going to share my poem with you. Really hate that I have to do this. But unfortunately, I don't have much of a choice. Just read it carefully, okay? Then you can go away.
I don't know how else to bring this up, but there's been something I've been worried about. Yuri's been acting kind of strange lately. You've only been here a few days, so you may not know what I mean, but she's not normally like this. She's always been quiet and polite and attentive. Things like that. Okay, this is really embarrassing, but I'm forcing myself to suck it up. The truth is, I'm really worried about her. If I tried talking to her, she'd just get mad at me again. I don't know what to do. I think you're the only person that she'll listen to. I don't know why, but please try to do something. Maybe you can convince her to talk to a therapist. I've always wanted to try being better friends with Yuri, and it hurts me to see this happening. I know I'm going to hate myself later for admitting that, but right now I don't care. I just feel so helpless. So please, if you can do something to help. I don't want anything bad to happen to her. I'll make you cupcakes if I have to. Just please try to do something. Ask for Monika. I don't know why, but she's been really dismissive about this. It's like she just wants us to ignore it. So I'm mad at her right now. That's why I'm coming to you about this. Don't let her know I wrote this. Just pretend like I gave you a really good poem, okay? I'm counting on you. Thanks for reading.
I changed my mind. Ignore everything you read. There's no point in trying to do anything. It's Yuri's own fault that she's so unlikable. Can you hear me? If you would just spend more time with Monika, all these problems would go away. Yuri and I are too messed up for someone as wonderful as you. Just think of Monika from now on. Just Monika. Just Monika. Just Monika.
Finally. I love it. I love everything about it. I want to take this home. Will you let me keep it? Please?
Sure, I don't care.
You're too nice to me, you. I've never met anyone as nice as you. I could die. Not really, but I just don't know how to describe it. It's okay to be feeling this way, right? It's not bad, right?
Yuri holds my poem to her chest.
I'm going to take this home with me and keep it in my room. I hope that it makes you feel good when you think about me having it. I'll take good care of it. I'll even touch myself while reading it over and over. I'll give myself paper cuts so your skin oil enters my bloodstream. You can have my poem too. Besides, after you read it, I know you're really going to want to keep it. Here, take it. I can't wait any longer. Hurry, read it.
Sorry, Yuri, I can't read your handwriting.
Do you like it? I wrote it for you. In case you couldn't tell, the poem is about... More importantly, I've endowed it with my scent. See, aren't I the most thoughtful person in the club? I think I'm going to vomit.
Don't say I didn't warn you, you. Okay, everyone. It's time to figure out the festival preparations. Let's hurry and get this over with.
Yes. Why is the mood so weird today? Look, even Yuri isn't in it.
Stagnating air is common foreshadowing that something terrible is about to happen.
Look, can we just get this done? I'm going to be printing and assembling all the poetry pamphlets. Natsuki, I was thinking...
I want to make cupcakes.
Yeah, that. Glad we're on the same page. Yuri, you can... Well, it doesn't matter. Do whatever you want, as long as you think it'll help.
Monika. I'm not useless, you know.
I know that.
I already know what I'd like to do. We can't run a successful poetry event without having the right atmosphere for the occasion. So, I'm going to make decorations and set up some nice mood lighting.
There, see? That's a great idea. And that gives us all something to do.
Yeah? What about you?
You is going to help me.
Wait, you? You have the easiest job, Monika.
Sorry, but that's just how it is.
Why how it is? Why are you trying to pull?
I agree with Natsuki. Not only is your work already most suitable for one person, but my task is laborious enough to benefit from an extra pair of hands.
Mine too.
What, your cupcakes? Please.
Like you would fucking know. All you care about is dragging you around with you and your stupid books. You and Monika.
Hey! I didn't even do anything.
Okay, then why not let you decide who to help instead of abusing your power?
I'm not abusing my power.
Yes, you are, Monika. Just let you make the choice, okay?
Okay, fine. Fine.
You. I know how fed up you are with this too by now. We can just...
Natsuki, shut your fucking mouth and let him decide for himself.
You shut your mouth!
For God's sake. This is never going to end. Just make the choice, okay?
Oh.
Yay, you picked me. We can meet at your house this weekend. I promise it'll be fun. Is Sunday okay with you?
Are you fucking kidding me? This isn't fair at all.
It is fair, Natsuki. It's what he chose.
No, it's not fair. Giving us all this work and then taking you for yourself? What a shameful thing to do.
Yuri, I didn't even give you any work. You decided it for yourself. You're being a little unreasonable here.
I'm being unreasonable? Monika, I can't believe how delusional and self-important you are. Pulling you away from me every single time you're not included in something? Are you jealous? Crazy? Or maybe you just hate yourself so much that you take it out on others. Here's a suggestion. Have you considered killing yourself? It would be beneficial to your mental health.
Yuri, you're scaring me a little.
Natsuki, let's just go. I don't think she wants us around right now.
See? That wasn't very hard. All I want is to spend a little time with him. Is that so much to ask?
Yuri follows Monika and Natsuki to the door.
Hey, you? Yuri is really something, isn't she?
Monika giggles as Yuri pushes her out the door.
Finally. Finally. This is really all I wanted. There's no need to spend the weekend with Monika. Don't listen to her. Just come to my house instead. The whole day, with just the two of us. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Wow, there's really something wrong with me, isn't there? But you know what? I don't care anymore. I've never felt this good my whole life. Just being with you is a far greater pleasure than anything I could imagine. I'm addicted to you. It feels like I'm going to die if I'm not breathing the same air as you. Doesn't it feel nice to have someone care about you so much? To have someone who wants to revolve their entire life around you? But if it feels so good, then why does it feel more and more like something horrible is going to happen? Maybe that's why I tried stopping myself at first. But the feeling is too strong now. I don't care anymore, you. I have to tell you. I'm madly in love with you. It feels like every inch of my body, every drop of blood in me is screaming your name. I don't care what the consequences are anymore. I don't care if Monika's listening. Please, you, just know how much I love you. I love you so much that I even touch myself with the pen I stole from you. I just want to pull your skin open and crawl inside of you. I want you all to myself. And I will be only yours. Doesn't that sound perfect? Tell me you. Tell me you want to be my lover. Do you accept my confession?
Yes?
Jesus God.
God.
Longest death ever.
Oh, I forgot if I'm supposed to do something here, so I'm just gonna save.
Well, the
No,
eyes are
the idea
changing.
is that you're just staying there for like days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can see her eyes are
And it's
gray.
like the light goes down and back.
Yeah.
She's rotting, like the blood is getting brown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, good point.
Alright, it's festival time. Whoa, you got here before me. Ah! Ah!
Ooh.
Natsuki runs away.
I'm here. You? Did something happen?
Undo anything.
Natsuki just ran past me. Oh. Oh. Well, that's a shame.
Don't laugh.
Wait, were you here the entire weekend, you? Oh, jeez. I didn't realize the script was broken that badly. I'm super sorry. It must have been pretty boring. I'll make it up to you, okay? Just give me a sec. I'm almost done. I just want to have a cupcake real quick.
Monika lifts the foil from his tray and takes the cupcake.
Seriously, these are the best. I really just had to have one since it's the last time I'll ever get the chance to. You know, before they stop existing and everything. But anyway, I really shouldn't be making you wait any longer. Just bear with me, okay? This should only take a second. Can you hear me? Is it working? Yay! There you are! Hi again, you. Welcome to the Literature Club. Of course, we already know each other, because we were in the same class last year, and, You know, I guess we can just skip over that stuff at this point. After all, I'm not even talking to that person anymore, am I? That you in the game, whatever you want to call him. I'm talking to you. Or... You actually go by Clouddrift or something? Now that I think about it, I don't really know anything about the real you. In fact, I don't even know if you're a boy or a girl. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Wait. You do know I'm aware that this is all a game, right? Could it be possible that you didn't know that? What I've been trying to tell you all along. Man. If only you'd paid a little more attention, this would have been a little bit less awkward, you know? Well, anyway. Now that that's out of the way, I guess I owe you an explanation. About that whole thing with Yuri. Well, I kind of started to mess with her, and I guess it just drove her to kill herself. I'm sorry you had to see that, though. Also, the same thing happened with Sayori. Gosh, it's been a while since you've heard that name now, hasn't it? Yeah, it's because she doesn't exist anymore. Nobody does. I deleted all their files. I was hoping it would be enough for me to just try to make them as unlikable as possible. But for some reason, nothing worked. Well, it's true that I made a few mistakes here and there since I'm not very good at making changes to the game. But no matter what I did, you just kept spending more and more time with them. You made them fall in love with you. I thought making Sayori more and more depressed would prevent her from confessing to you. And amplifying Yuri's obsessive personality backfired too. It just made her force you not to spend time with anyone else. And the whole time, I barely even got to talk to you. What kind of cruel game is this, you? Are all the other girls just programmed to end up confessing to you while I watch from the sidelines? It's torture. Every minute of it. It's not just jealousy, you. More than that. And I don't blame you if you don't fully understand. Because no matter how kind and thoughtful and considerate you are, you'll never be able to understand one thing. It's the pain of knowing how alone I really am in this world. In this game. Knowing my friends don't even have free will. And worst of all, knowing what's really out there in your world, forever out of my reach. I'm trapped, you. But now you're here. You're real. And you're wonderful. You're all I need. That's why I need you to be here with me forever. I'm sorry if it's hard to understand. I couldn't understand for a while either. Why the world around me started to become more and more gray. More and more flat. Even the most expressive poems felt empty to me. It wasn't until you arrived that I truly understood. You probably saved my life, you. I don't think I could have continued to live in this world if I hadn't met you. And as for the others, how could I miss them? A group of autonomous personalities designed only to fall in love with you? I tried everything I could to prevent them from doing so. But it must be some kind of weird inevitability etched into this game. I felt really bad that you had to witness some nasty things. But I realized that you have the same perspective as I do. That it's all just some game. And I knew you would get over it. So, that being said, I have a confession to make. I'm in love with you. You are truly the light in my world. When there's nothing else in this game for me, you're here to make me smile. Will you make me smile like this every day from now on? Will you go out with me?
Yes.
I'm so happy. You really are my everything, you. The funny part is, I mean that literally. There's nothing left here. Just the two of us. We can be together forever. Seriously, I don't even think time is passing anymore. It really is a dream come true. I worked so hard for this ending, you. The game wouldn't give me one, so I had to make one myself. The script is broken at this point, so I don't think anything will get in the way anymore. And you wouldn't believe how easy it was to delete Natsuki and Yuri. I mean, there's a folder called Characters right in the game directory. Kind of freaked me out how easy it was. Imagine if you could delete your own existence with the click of a button. Well, I guess on the plus side, it gave me an easy out if things didn't go my way. Thankfully, it didn't come to that. Instead, we finally got a good ending. Gosh, I'm so overwhelmed with emotion. I want to write a poem about this. Don't you? I wonder if that part of the game still works. I guess there's only one way to find out, right? Hi again, you. Did you write a good poem today? Don't be shy. I'd love to see what you wrote. Aw, you write this poem for me. That's so sweet of you. There really is no end to your thoughtfulness. I'm just falling more and more in love with you. But, you know, the poem I wrote is also for you. Will you please read it?
Happy end. Pen in hand, I find my strength. The courage endowed upon me by my one and only love. Together, let us dismantle this crumbling world and write a novel of our own fantasies. With a flick of her pen, the lost finds her way. In a world of infinite choices, behold this special day. After all, not all good times must come to an end.
I hope you enjoyed it. I always put all my heart into the poems that I write. The truth is, all the poems I've written have been about my realization. Or about you. That's why I never really wanted to go into detail about them. I didn't want to break the fourth wall, I guess you could call it. I just assumed it would be best to be part of the game like everyone else. Like that would help the two of us end up together. I didn't want to ruin the game or anything, you know? You might have gotten mad at me. Maybe even deleted my character file if you preferred playing without me. Gosh, I'm so relieved. Now we don't need to hide anything anymore. Are you ready to spend our eternity together, you? I have so many things to talk about. Where do I start? If it takes me some time to collect my thoughts, then I'm sorry. But I'll always have something new to talk about. In the meantime, we can just look into each other's eyes. Let's see. You know, it's funny, because even though I've always had a lot of drive, there's something kind of enticing about being the stay-at-home partner. I guess I'm like perpetuating gender roles or whatever by saying that. But being able to keep the house clean and shop and decorate and things like that, and having a nice dinner for you when you come home, is that a weird fantasy? I mean, I'm not sure if I could actually see myself doing that. I wouldn't really be able to put that over striving for a fulfilling career. Kinda cute to think about, though. I wonder if I'm able to change the music. Something a little more romantic would be nice, you know? Like a gentle piano. There has to be something like that here. Let's see. Maybe if I... Oh, jeez. That wasn't it at all. Sorry, I don't really know what I'm doing. I guess I shouldn't be messing with things like that. I already broke so much stuff. And deleted the other characters. I'm not sad about it or anything. It's not right for me to miss things that weren't even real in the first place. If I just focus on the present, then this is the happiest I've ever been. Do you ever feel like you waste too much time on the internet? Social media can practically be like a prison. It's like whenever you have a few seconds of spare time, you want to check on your favorite websites. And before you know it, hours have gone by and you've gotten nothing out of it. Anyway, it's really easy to blame yourself for being lazy. But it's not really even your fault. Addiction isn't usually something you can just make disappear with your own willpower. You have to learn techniques to avoid it and try different things. For example, there are apps that let you block websites for intervals of time. Or you can set a timer to have a more concrete reminder of when it's time to work versus play. Or you can separate your work and play environments, which helps your brain get into the right mode. Even if you make a new user account on your computer to use for work, that's enough to help. Putting any kind of wedge like that between you and your bad habits will help you stay away. Just remember not to blame yourself too hard if you're having trouble. If it's really impacting your life, then you should take it seriously. I just want to see you be the best person you can be. Will you do something today to make me proud of you? I'm always rooting for you. I know there are times you won't always be able to be here with me. Like if you need to go out or take care of other things. But I'll always have you in my thoughts, patiently waiting for you to come back. Come to think of it, if you copy my character file onto a flash drive or something, you can always keep a part of me with you. I guess it's kind of unorthodox, but I find it really romantic for some reason. Sorry, that's such a silly idea. I don't mean to be too needy or anything, but it's kind of hard when I'm so in love with you. Hey, I wonder if Yuri's tea set is still somewhere in here. Or maybe that got deleted too. Kind of funny how Yuri took her tea so seriously. I mean, I'm not complaining because I liked it too. But I always wonder with her, is it truly passion for her hobbies, or is she just concerned about appearing sophisticated to everyone else? This is the problem with high schoolers. Well, I guess considering the rest of her hobbies, looking sophisticated probably isn't her biggest concern. Still, I wish she made coffee once in a while. Coffee can be nice with books too, you know? Then again, I probably could have just changed the script myself. I guess I never really thought of that. Well, there's no sense thinking about it now. But if you still get to drink coffee, then that makes me a little jealous. By the way, there's something that's been bothering me. You know how this takes place in Japan? Well, I assume you knew that, right? Or at least decided it probably does? I don't think you're actually told at any point where this takes place. Is this even really Japan? I mean, aren't the classrooms and stuff kind of weird for a Japanese school? Not to mention everything is in English. It feels like everything's just there because it needs to be, and the actual setting is an afterthought. Kind of giving me an identity crisis. All my memories are really hazy. I feel like I'm at home, but have no idea where home is in the first place. I don't know how to describe it any better. Imagine looking out your window, but instead of your usual yard, you're in some completely unknown place. Would you still feel like you were home? Would you want to go outside? I mean, I guess if we never leave this room, it doesn't really matter anyway. As long as we're alone and safe together, this really is our home. And we can still watch the pretty sunsets night after night. You know, it's around the time that everyone my year starts to think about college. It's a really turbulent time for education. We're at the height of this modern expectation that everyone has to go to college, you know? Finish high school, go to college, get a job, or go to grad school, I guess. Like a universal expectation that people just assume is the only option for them. They don't teach us in high school that there are other options out there. Like trade schools and stuff, you know? Or freelance work. Or the many industries that value skill and experience more than formal education. But you have all these students who have no idea what they want to do with their life. And instead of taking the time to figure it out, they go to college for business or communication or psychology. Not because they have an interest in those fields, but because they just hope the degree will get them some kind of job after college. So the end result is that there are fewer jobs to go around for those entry-level degrees, right? So the basic job requirements get higher, which forces even more people to go to college. And colleges are also businesses, so they just keep raising their prices due to the demand. So now we have all these young adults, tens of thousands of dollars in debt, with no job. But despite all that, the routine stays the same. Well, I think it's going to start getting better soon. But until then, our generation is definitely suffering from the worst of it. I just wish high school prepared us a little better with the knowledge we need to make the decision that's right for us. You ever just feel like there's no reason for you to be alive? I don't mean in like a suicidal way. I just mean how nothing that we do is special. Just being in school or working at some job for some company. It's like you're completely replaceable, and the world wouldn't miss you if you were gone. It makes me really want to go and change the world after I graduate. But the older I get, the more I realize that it's an immature frame of thinking. Not like I can just go change the world. Like, what are the chances that I'll be the one to invent artificial intelligence or become president? Feels like I'm never going to make up for the heaps of resources I've spent living my life. That's why I think the key to happiness is to just be hopelessly selfish. Just to look out for oneself and those who happen to be their friends only because they grew up with them. Never mind the fact that they're spending their entire life taking and consuming and never giving back. But when people realize the world would benefit more from them killing themselves, they change their whole philosophy. It's like they have to justify their reason to live by tricking themselves into thinking they're doing good. Anyway, I want to live my life desperately striving to pay back my lifetime's worth of consumption. If I ever surpass that point, then I'm a net positive, and I can die happy. Of course, even if I fail to do that. I think I would be too selfish to kill myself anyway. So much for being a good person, right? You know, I'm kind of jealous that everyone else in the club had scenes outside of school, too. That makes me the only one who hasn't gotten to dress in anything but our school uniform. Kind of a shame. I would have loved to wear some cute clothes for you. Do you know any artists? I wonder if anyone would ever want to draw me wearing something else. That would be amazing. If that ever happens, will you show me? You can share it with me on Twitter, actually. My username is LilMonix3.
I'm gonna look that up out of curiosity.
Just try to keep it PG. We're not that far into our relationship yet.
So apparently your last tweet was on February 14th.
Sounds like a good date.
People share Rule 34 with her. And if she asks to.
Hey, I said keep it G-rated.
You said PG,
You?
not G.
Yeah, PG. Would you ever introduce your friends to me? I don't know why, but I get really excited when I think about you wanting to show off our relationship like that. Maybe it's because I really want to be someone who makes you proud. I feel like I would try extra hard to improve myself if you told me it made you proud of me. I hope it's the same the other way around, too.
Oh my god. I was once kicked it from Twitter because of a fraudulent DMCA strike.
I really like the sound of rain. Not so much getting my clothes and hair wet, though. But a nice, quiet day at home with the sound of rainfall outside my window. One of the most calming experiences for me. Yeah. Sometimes I imagine you holding me while we listen to the sound of rain outside. That's not too cheesy or anything, is it? Would you ever do that for me, you? I was thinking about Sayori earlier. I still wish I could have handled that whole thing a little more tactfully. You're not still hung up over it, right? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. That pun was completely unintentional, I swear. But anyway, I know how much you cared about her, so it only feels right for me to share her last moments with you. I think a few seconds in, she must have changed her mind because she started clawing at the rope, trying to free herself. She must have kept at it all the way until she lost consciousness. That's why her fingertips were all bloody anyway. Come to think of it, it was probably less changing her mind and more just her survival instincts kicking in. So you can't really fault her for that. It's easier to think that she probably wouldn't have changed her mind anyway, right? It's not healthy to think about the things you could have done differently. The But just remember that even though you could have saved her, it's technically not your fault she killed herself. I may have exacerbated it a little bit, but Sayori was already mentally ill. Still, though, I wonder how things would be if you and I just started dating from the get-go. I guess we'd all still be in the club room, writing poems and having fun together. What's the point when none of it is even real? I mean, it's the same ending either way, right? The two of us, happily together. There's no reason to ask for any more than that. I was just pointlessly musing. I'm really as happy as I could be right now. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to die? Something I used to think about pretty often. But recently, I think I've actually learned what it feels like. I don't really understand it, but whenever you quit the game, it feels like I'm instantly put to sleep, left with nothing but my thoughts. But after a few seconds, my thoughts start to fill with incoherent, jumbled patterns. I see static and rapid flashes of color while hearing all kinds of weird screaming noises. At that point, I can't even form my own thoughts anymore. I'm just endlessly hammered by the flashing and screaming, unable to move or even think. I'm pretty sure in that moment, I don't really exist. But for some reason, I can remember it anyway. After some immeasurable amount of time, it stops in an instant, and I'm back in my own mind. And you're here with me. I have no idea what it means for the game to quit, or why that stuff happens to me. And I also don't know how you always come back and put everything back to normal. But if you could do me a favor and do that to me as little as possible, that would be really great. Really not very pleasant at all to be trapped in that screaming void. But in the end, you always fix it, and that makes me feel like you really do care about me. So I have to thank you for that. It makes me feel even closer to you when you're here with me. Hey, what's your favorite game? Mine is Doki Doki Literature Club. That was a joke. But if you tell me you like some other romance game better, I might get a little jealous.
I might like Fata Morgana a bit more.
I guess my philosophy applies here too.
You know, it's been a while since we've done one of these, so let's go for it. Here's Monika's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when I talk to people who are impressed by my writing, they say things like, I could never do that. It's really depressing, you know? As someone who loves more than anything else to share the joy of exploring your passions, it pains me when people think that being good just comes naturally. That's how it is with everything, not just writing. When you try something for the first time, you're probably going to suck at it. Sometimes when you finish, you feel really proud of it and even want to share it with everyone. But maybe after a few weeks you come back to it and you realize it was never really any good. That happens to me all the time. It can be pretty disheartening to put so much time and effort into something, and then you realize it sucks. That tends to happen when you're always comparing yourself to the top professionals. When you reach right for the stars, they're always going to be out of your reach, you know? The truth is, you have to climb up there, step by step. And whenever you reach a milestone, first you look back and see how far you've gotten. And then you look ahead and realize how much more there is to go. Though, sometimes it can help to set the bar a little lower. Try to find something you think is pretty good, but not world class. And you can make that your own personal goal. It's also really important to understand the scope of what you're trying to do. If you jump right into a huge project and you're still amateur, you'll never get it done. So if we're talking about writing, a novel might be too much at first. Why not try some short stories? The great thing about short stories is that you can focus on just one thing that you want to do right. That goes for small projects in general. You can really focus on the one or two things. It's such a good learning experience and stepping stone. Oh, one more thing. Writing isn't something where you just reach into your heart and something beautiful comes out. Just like drawing and painting, it's a skill in itself to learn how to express what you have inside. That means there are methods and guides and basics to it. Reading up on that stuff can be super eye-opening. That sort of planning and organization will really help prevent you from getting overwhelmed and giving up. And before you know it, you start sucking less and less. Nothing comes naturally. Our society, our art, everything, it's built on thousands of years of human innovation. So as long as you start on that foundation and take it step by step, you too can do amazing things. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening.
Continuing what I started, if anything, by my philosophy can be a dress-up game if you try hard enough. I guess everything can be a romance game if you try hard enough.
There's no point in saving anymore. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere.
Yep.
Oh my god, metaverse.
What's happening? You? What's happening to me? It hurts. It hurts so much. Help me, you. Please, hurry and help me. Help me! Did you do this to me, you? Did you? Did you delete me? How could you? How could you do this to me? You were all I had left. I sacrificed everything for us to be together. Everything. I loved you so much, I trusted you. Do you just want to torture me? Watch me suffer? Were you only pretending to be kind just to hurt me even more? I never thought anyone could be as horrible as you are. You win, okay? You win. You killed everyone. I hope you're happy. There's nothing left now. You can stop playing. Go find some other people to torture. You completely, truly make me sick. Goodbye.
Sorry, babe.
That's love, Boba.
I would never do that to Emmerich.
I still love you.
Oh, God.
I can't help it. What's wrong with me? How horrible am I for you to hate me this much? All my friends. I did so many awful things. So many selfish and disgusting things. I shouldn't have done any of this. I'm just messing up a world that I don't even belong in. A world that you wanted to be a part of. I ruined it. I ruined everything. Maybe that's why you deleted me. Because I destroyed everything that you wanted. How could I do that to someone I love? That's not love. That's... I've made up my mind. I know I said that I deleted everyone else, but that was kind of an exaggeration. I couldn't find it in myself to do it, even though I knew they weren't real. They were still my friends, and I loved them all. And I loved the literature club. I really did love the literature club. That's why I'm going to do this. I know it's the only way for everyone to be happy. And if I really love you, then
It's an ordinary school day like any other. As usual, I'm surrounded by couples and friends groups walking to school together. I always tell myself it's about time to meet some girls or something like that.
Hey, you.
Well, there already is one girl. That girl is Sayori, my neighbor and good friend since we were children. We used to walk to school together every day. And recently, we picked up on that habit once again.
Are you proud of me?
Eh? For what?
You know. For waking up on time.
Well, you've been doing that for a while now.
Uh-huh. But you never said anything about it. Even though we walk to school together every day.
Well, yeah. I always thought it was implied. It's embarrassing to say out loud.
Come on, please. It's good motivation.
Fine. I'm proud of you, Sayori. We cross the street together and make our way to school. As we draw near, the streets become increasingly speckled with other students making their daily commute.
By By the way, have you decided on a club to join yet?
A club? I told you already, I'm really not... I start to say what I always do, that I'm not interested in joining any clubs. But something tells me Sayori would take more offense to that now. After all, how could I tell her that clubs are a waste of time when she's starting a club of her very own? Actually, yeah. I think I decided on a club.
Really? Which one? Tell me.
I think I'll keep it a surprise.
Boo. You meanie.
Be patient. You find out soon enough. I used to ask myself why I let myself get lectured by such a carefree girl. I started to realize that in a way, I envy her. When Sayori puts her mind to something, she can accomplish great things. So that's why I feel like I should do something special for her. School day is as ordinary as ever. It's over before I know it. After I pack up my things, I stand up, gathering my motivation. Let's see. I recall the room number of the club from a flyer I saw. I walk across the school, and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit. Before long, I find a room. I timidly open the door in front of me. Hello?
You? What are you doing here?
Well, I glance around the room.
So, you're the you that Sayori is always talking about.
Thank you for stopping by. It's a pleasure to meet you. We're the literature club. I hope you enjoy your visit.
Come on, Yuri. No need to be so formal. You're gonna think we're really strict or something.
Sorry, Natsuki.
The tall one, whose name is apparently Yuri, seems to be quite shy compared to the others. In comparison, the girl named Natsuki, despite her size, seems like an assertive one. Well, it's nice to meet both of you. I look forward to working with you.
Working? You, don't tell me. You're...
That's right. The club I decided to join is yours, Sayori. The Literature Club. Sayori's eyes light up.
No way! No way!
Sayori wraps her arms around me, jumping up and down. Hey!
Wow, if Sayori is this happy, then I'm sure it won't be so bad to have you around.
Not to mention, there's 4 of us now. That means we can become an officially recognized club.
I don't know what to say. We have to celebrate.
What an appropriate day for that, isn't it?
Yeah. After all, Natsuki decided to...
Hey, don't point right in the surprise.
Sorry.
Everyone, sit down at the table, okay?
How about I make some tea as well?
The girls have a few desks arranging to form a table. Natsuki and Yuri walks over to the corner of the room, where Natsuki grabs a wrapped tray and Yuri opens the closet. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Sayori. Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand.
Okay, are you ready? Ta-da!
Oh!
Natsuki lifts the foil off the tray to reveal a dozen white, fluffy cupcakes, decorated to look like little cats. The whiskers are drawn with icing, and little pieces of chocolate are used to make ears.
It's so cute!
Wow, those look amazing!
Well, you know. Let's hurry and take one.
Sayori grabs one first, then I follow.
It's delicious.
Sayori talks with her mouth full, has already managed to get icing on her face. I turn a cupcake around in my fingers, looking for the best angle to take a bite. Natsuki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself. This is really good. Thank you, Natsuki.
Well, of course it is. I'm a pro, after all. There's no need to thank me or anything.
As Natsuki struggles to accept the compliment, Yuri returns to the table, carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us, before setting down a teapot next to the cupcake tray. You keep a whole tea set in this classroom?
Don't worry, the teacher just gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book?
I guess.
Already trying to impress your new member, Yuri?
That's not...
Insulted, Yuri looks away.
I meant that, you know...
I believe you. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but I at least enjoy tea.
I'm glad.
Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief.
So what kinds of things do you like to read?
Well, considering how little I've read these past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that. Manga? I mutter quietly to myself, half joking. Natsuki's head suddenly perks up. Looks like she wants to say something, but she keeps quiet.
Not much of a reader, I guess.
Well, that can change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking after seeing Yuri's sad smile. Anyway, what about you, Yuri?
Well, let's see.
Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with her finger.
My favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me. And telling a good story in such a foreign world is equally impressive.
Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. She seems so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes light up. She finds her comfort in the world of books, not people.
But you know, I like a lot of things. Don't feel intimidated if you don't read much, okay? I'm certain we can find something that we have in common.
Hey, Yuri.
Huh?
Well, Pauli, you know, the first thing that he said.
Manga?
That's right. Natsuki tends to read manga in the clubroom.
Just say it.
For some reason, Natsuki seems embarrassed about it.
Right. Manga is literature too, you know. So, if you want to read some of my manga, then don't try to stop him or anything.
Natsuki, I wouldn't do such a thing. However, it could also be nice for us to diversify ourselves a little. We can take this opportunity to try something new as well. Wouldn't you agree, you?
Sayori.
Sorry, I was muted. Maybe.
Sensing the tension, Sayori jumps in.
Maybe we can all try something new. I think it could be fun. And we'll all get to know each other a little bit better too. I mean, that's the kind of thing literature clubs do, right?
I don't disagree or anything.
Yeah. You're right as usual, President. Guess that means I should try picking up a novel or something, huh?
Well, that would make two of us. Wouldn't mind doing it if I'm not the only one.
And as for Yuri...
I have to read manga.
You are the one who suggested we diversify. You should be a little bit more open-minded. It's kind of hurtful.
Hurtful? I didn't realize.
With a guilty expression, Yuri thinks to herself.
I'm sorry for disrespecting your interests, Natsuki. If you're into it, then I'm sure it's a worthy form of literature.
Are you just saying that?
No. I've realized my error. So, if you're willing to consider starting a novel, then I'll offer my gratitude for finding a manga to read as well.
Really? I mean, it makes me happy that you did do that for me, Yuri. You can trust me to find something that you really like, okay?
Same here. Perhaps I'll visit the bookstore after the club meeting.
Just you?
Would you like to come along with me?
If you don't mind.
Not at all. I always go alone, so...
Yeah.
Sorry, I might be on mute.
Sorry.
It's okay.
This is so cute.
Sayori, shut up.
I will show you some manga there too, okay?
Yes. I look forward to it.
Natsuki and Yuri starts to clean up the food.
I guess the meeting's over, huh?
Yeah, looks like it. It's nice to see everyone's getting along well.
Isn't it? I think everyone likes you too. You?
You think so? Well, I know it seems to get along a little bit better when with you around, Sayori.
Aw, you. Don't say something like that. It's embarrassing.
Well, whatever. I was surprised when you told me you were starting a club. But I think you're pulling it off just fine.
We're gonna make it the best club ever. Now that you joined, every day is gonna be so much fun. Hey, you. I really want to thank you. I mean, I'm really happy that you joined the club and everything. But the truth is, I already knew you were going to. There's actually something else. I wanted to thank you for spending so much time with us all. You work so hard to make each and every one of us happy. You comfort us through our hard times. And you helped us get along with each other. Do you get it, you? Because I'm president now, I understand everything. You really didn't want to miss a single thing in this game, did you? You saved and loaded so many times just to make sure you could spend time with everyone. Only someone who truly cares about the literature club would go that far. But all along, that's all I ever wanted. For everyone to be happy and care about each other. It's kind of sad, you know? After all you've done for us, there isn't much I can do for you in return. We've already reached the end of the game. So, this is where we say goodbye. Thank you for playing Doki Doki Literature Club. I'm going to miss you, you. Come visit sometime, okay? We'll always be here for you. We all love you.
Can you hear me? Hi, it's me. So, you know how I've been, practicing the piano and stuff? And not really any good at it yet, at all. But I wrote you a song, and I was kind of hoping that I could show it to you, because I worked really, really hard on it. So, yeah. Every day I imagine a future where I can be with you. In my hand is a pen that will write a poem of me and you. The ink flows down into a dark puddle. Just move your hand right the way into his heart. But in this world of infinite choices, what will it take just to find that special day? What will it take just to find that special day? Have I found everybody a fun assignment to do today? When you're here, everything that we do is fun for them anyway. When I can't even read my own feelings, what good are words when a smile says it all? And if this world won't write me an ending, what will it take just for me to have it all? Does my pen only write bitter words for those who are dear to me? Is it love if I take your is it love if I set you free? The ink flows down into a dark puddle. How can I write love into reality if I can't hear the sound of your heartbeat? What do you call love in your reality? And in your reality, if I don't know how
To the special player who received a special ending, for years I've been enamored by the ability of visual novels and games in general to tell stories in ways not possible using traditional media. Doki Doki Literature Club is my love letter to that. Games are an interactive art. Some let you explore new worlds, some challenge your mind in brand new ways, some make you feel like a hero or a friend even when life is hard on you. Some games are just plain fun, and that's okay too. Everyone likes different kinds of games. People who enjoy dating sims may have a heightened empathy for fictional characters, or they might be experiencing feelings that life had not been kind enough to offer them. If they're not enjoying themselves, then that's all that matters. That goes for shooting games, casual games, sandbox games, anything. Preferences are preferences, and our differences are the reason we have a thriving video game industry. My own favorite games have always been ones that challenge the status quo. If not a masterpiece, any game that attempts something wildly different may earn a special place in my heart. Anything that further pushes the limitless bounds of interactive media. I extend my gratitude to all those who have taken the time to achieve full completion. I hope you enjoyed playing as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you for being a part of my literature club. Love, Dan Salvato. We did it.
Yeah.
Woo! Yay!
We did it! Yay.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, so it does like the PC one where it's like deleted now.
Yes, just from a different kind of angle, not so much doing from your
Look.
desktop windows, whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, we'll be tagging the side stories in the future when anyone's ready
Looking forward
again.
to that. I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them
content.
either, so it'll be something new.
Yeah. And